The Void. Series 1, Episode 4, The Fillim Perspective, by Richard Marcus Powell. Chapter 9. The darkened remote conference hall awaited in anticipation with a low electric hum as holographic projection technology warmed up. It took a while to process the data from a remote source, as there was much trickery required to lighten the load on data volume. This meant the load time was increased to improve the performance of the communication itself. This did lead to the occasional problem with the projected environment, where the projected environment got out of synchronization with the real environment and visual errors started to occur. But this was an acceptable compromise. Viktor waited patiently in his wheelchair, drumming one of his unfeeling knees with his fingers.
I loathe waiting for these things to fire up.
For these sorts of conferences, sir, a lot of front-end processing needs to be done. There's a lot more data involved than a standard two-dimensional stream.
I know, but I detest waiting for anyone or anything.
I know, sir, but this is unavoidable.
The projector roared into life and started drawing elements within the suite's projection platform. As it drew, parts of the environment at the other end came into focus. It was another room like the one he currently occupied, but smaller. The environment beyond the platform was pictured, but this was very much for background only and not interactive. It did provide some context, though. A window appeared on the background, showing a fully animated window capturing the view outside of a very dark world, showing a barely illuminated cityscape of shadow. As the environment was fully populated, it started drawing the occupant, starting with a rough outline and then refining the detail. The figure was short and squat, and possessing 8 limbs, 6 on the ground and 2 held upright. The general figure was split across both the horizontal and vertical. The rear half was horizontal, and the front half was vertical. There was a distinct head on the stocky body, supported by a thick muscular neck. As the detail was added, the body's tough, shell-like nature could be seen. It was armor of a sort, but closer to the type found in mammals. The legs were stocky but flexible. They were built to support, and it was apparent that the creature they belonged to was not built for speed. They also had a look that was neither quite insectoid nor mammalian. The length of the body was segmented, but the front segments became upright, a posture forged over millions of years. The front limbs had become dexterous but somewhat stubby arms. It was a creature that had fine control, but little reach. The front part of the body was not dissimilar to a humanoid template, but exceptionally bulky. It was clear the creature required a great deal of muscle mass to maintain this posture and must have evolved in a high-gravity environment. The head seemed similar to a human's, with 2 eyes, something analogous to a nose, and a mouth. The mouth had mandibles either side, built to manipulate food into the maw, but otherwise it was similar in nature to a human's. The eyes were massive, taking up a large percentage of the head, and jet black in coloration. Despite its alien appearance, there was still something about it that was still familiar to humanity, and quite expressive. Fully drawn, the figure was now visible in its entirety, resembling a mythical centaur, if it were crossed with a centipede instead of a horse. The figure made a clicking noise from deep in its throat, and the Babel implant started translating.
Hello, am I addressing Cillak Ser Mosnir'Itak? This is he. Good. I am Viktor Heller, Chief Executive Officer of the Heller Corporation.
Hello, Viktor Heller. How may I help you? Cillak responded, his face contorted in the vague semblance of a smile.
I understand you have a business proposition for me. I do, Viktor smiled back. Before we go into details, just let me verify something.
Viktor leaned to Karelian Kolarov and whispered to her.
This conference can't be recorded at his end, can it?
No, sir. The security protocols ensured he had to accept a block on all recording media before the conference was set up. Nothing in that room can record anything. It's a full silent zone.
Silent zones was something that had to be agreed upon when it came to interstellar communications. When anything and everything could be recorded, there had to be a means of ensuring privacy, and this came in the form of complete and total electronic lockdown over a localized area. The range was not great, but it was secure. Satisfied, Viktor continued.
I understand you supply the Heller Corporation with a number of rare commodities.
My clans supply you with rare herbs, spices, and minerals from Dantikar space for 3 generations now.
And it has been a reliable service your clan has provided. When trade deal can last generations, you know it is reliable.
We thank you for your kind words, sir.
Now I know your clan can be reliable, but I also need to know if we can trust you,
Viktor hinted with a subject of a sensitive nature. Would you be suggesting trading something of a more morally complex nature?
Of a kind. But I am aware the Dantikar like to keep their business within a clearly defined moral framework.
It is a commonly held misconception. Most Dantikar clans do tend to operate within the laws of the authority governing that space, but this is not part of our ethical standpoint. It is really about making the business flow with minimum interruption. Legal quandaries and ethical dilemmas can slow business down, so adhering to the rules is just the path of least resistance, Cillak explained. The Dantikar moved slowly across the platform, lumbering with great effort. But some of the Dantikar clans own a disproportionate amount of the business and keep it to themselves. This means many clans do not achieve the level of success that they are capable of. For those clans, they have to be a bit more adaptable when striking new trade deals.
You feel your clan, the Mosnir'Itak, have been undervalued.
Time and time again, we have been denied opportunities that could have developed and expanded. Those opportunities are taken by those who already have too much and have neither the will nor the want to build on it.
So your ambitions have been frustrated at every turn?
Yes. Fortunately, we have found good business with organizations like yourselves. But good business needs to grow, and we're not getting the opportunities we deserve.
Well, what I propose would benefit your clan immensely, but it does come with a few risks,
Viktor suggested.
But risk is part of business.
Risk is a core element of business, but rewards need to complement the risk.
Yes, it does.
Viktor laughed at the reminder.
And you will find that we will ensure that the rewards exceed the risks.
What is your proposal? If I may be plain, I assume this involves some illegal activity.
It does. A great deal. It's a high risk but high reward,
Viktor added.
You are familiar with how Heller established itself as a major corporation in human society?
Yes, pharmaceuticals and healthcare.
As part of a great strategic policy, we are looking to introduce a narcotic supply into enemy territory. What we plan to do is illegal in Heller's space, but not in theirs. Hence the risk.
You are looking to destabilize your competitor, Cillak observed.
Yes. Is this a problem for you?
Only if it infringes on any business I have with your competitor. Who is it?
The Human Democratic Republic.
We have no business with them to impact. So we have no problem with your intentions, Cillak judged. So you want someone to run the narcotic trade for you to distance yourself from it?
Yes.
But I have no intention of becoming a visible criminal icon. That could make business difficult.
Every effort will be made in keeping your involvement secret. We don't want you to be a visible presence. The aim here is to destabilize, and confusion aids with that. So we want you to remain a mystery as much as possible,
Viktor reasoned.
There is a risk that you will be discovered. I'm not going to lie about that. That is why it's high risk, and why we want an intermediary in the first place. But we will do everything we can to keep your identity secret, and hide your clan's involvement.
Cillak Ser Mosnir'Itak deliberated on this. There were clear risks associated with this deal, and, though the humans offered high rewards, he would seek to make these as high as possible.
Getting involved with human politics is a high-risk move, he observed. But in order for my clan to grow their business portfolio, a new high-end venture would be advantageous. The Hello Corporation treats its partners generously, Viktor assured. We will supply you with all the hardware you need, ships, machinery, and personnel. We will provide you with the products. You will oversee and administer the operation, and do what you can to grow the business. For this, you will receive 50% of the profit. Risk is high. The Mosnir'Itak clan requires 75% of profits, no less.
Viktor visibly rankled at this. The narcotic trade would prove to be exceptionally lucrative once they established it, so this would be an enormous sum of money.
That's a big step up.
This is covert work. You will not find many willing to do it.
Okay then. 75%,
Viktor reluctantly conceded.
Thank you, Viktor Heller. I know this was a hard bargain, but a good businessman must know his own value.
And you seem to know yours.
The Mosnir'Itak may be undervalued in Dantikar society, but we know our own worth, Cillak replied.
And your decision?
I think we can do business, Viktor Heller, Cillak agreed. But I have one condition. We will not trade anything with a high mortality rate. It's bad for customers and it's bad for business. Addicted customers come back for more, dead ones do not.
Agreed. No high mortality narcotics.
I will speak to our clan elders first, and then I will let you know our decision, Viktor Heller, Cillak added.
Can we trust the discretion of your clan?
Viktor worried at this mention. We would not have the clients we do have if we lacked discretion.
Good,
Viktor responded.
When you make the decision, let me know and we will arrange for a meeting where we can go through the details.
Agreed.
It has been a pleasure doing business with you, Cillak.
You too, Viktor Heller.
The holographic generator powered down, the detail of the alien conference room vanishing.
You think we can trust his clan?
Trust is a strong word,
Karelian Korolev responded.
But I think they can be correctly incentivized. They want the business, and keeping a good relationship with the client is key to that. It's in their interest to be trustworthy.
I don't like the idea of him sharing the information with his entire family, though.
Without any media evidence, it would be little more than hearsay, sir, Karelian countered. As I say, it's very much in their interest to remain quiet about this.
Yeah, well, I want something in place to ensure we are protected,
Viktor explained.
Draw up some contingencies.